Hello everyone and welcome to today's class. Today we are going to start with a concept of an types of energy that is new for us known as the internal energy. Now all the particles, all the constituent particle that creates the universe, those particles for their existence must possess some characteristic or some function. The first few functions are that these type of constant particles, bodies, system must possess a translational motion, that is motion from one point to another point. Must is a pretty big word. Possess translational motion, vibrational motion, rotational motion. These are the fundamental motion that a body, that a constant particle possesses. And for this motion, these particle have their own energy inside them that they stored. Apart from them, for their own existence, these kind of energy mainly known as the kinetic energy. And apart from this kinetic energy that deals with the motion of their constant particles, this particle also possesses potential energy. Now, apart from all this energy, a body, a particle also constitute, if that particle is atom, in that case nuclear energy, so that nucleons can bind together inside the nucleus, and lots of other atom subatomic level energy is required, because to have an existence of a subatomic body, a constant particle, you need to have some kind of function for that body, and to perform those function, a fundamental amount of energy is required for that body to stored within that. Those The sum of those fundamental energies are known as, are termed as, the internal energy of that constant particle. Like for a particle, energy that is required for translational motion, vibrational motion, rotational motion, potential energies, nuclear energy, this kind of energy that is required for the existence of an subatomic particle, existence of an atom, existence of constant particles in a system. The energy, the sum of all this energy is termed as the internal energy of that particular subatomic particle, that particular the internal energy of that particular constant particles. Now if a system comprises of numerous numbers of constant particle, the sum of the internal energy of all these numerous particles will create the total internal energy of the system. So this internal energy concept that we are not just talking about, it is the minimum amount of energy that a system is required to store within itself for its own existence. That is the basic concepts of internal energy. And in thermodynamics, in chemistry, in science, internal energy is termed as, is denoted as capital U. Some of the important point that we need to remember in our study about the internal energy. Now, the first point is that internal energy is the sum total of all the fundamental function for the existence of a constant particle. Mainly koi translational motion, vibrational motion, rotational motion, this kind of energy required for this kind of function. Now energy required for translational, vibration, rotational motion cannot be determined directly. That's why the internal energy of any constant particle or system cannot be determined directly, but the change in the internal energy, that can be experimentally determined. What I'm trying to say is that, suppose A is a reactant that we had taken, and we are doing a chemical reaction, and after the reaction B is the product that we had got. During this change, during this transformation, during this chemical reaction, the change in the internal energy that had happened is going to be represented by delta U, and it is given by the change between the internal energy of the product B minus the internal energy of the product A. Now internal energy of product A and B cannot be determined directly, because we cannot actually determine the energy required for we cannot actually directly determine the energy required for translation, vibration, or rotational energies. That's why internal energy for a constant particle or a system cannot be determined directly, but the amount of the internal energy that had been changed, that is delta U, that can experimentally determined and is given by the difference between the system resultant system minus the initial system, that is internal energy after a difference is delta U2 minus delta U1. Now this is the concept behind the change in the internal energy. Now internal energy, specifically change in internal or difference in internal energy, depends on the absolute temperature. For ideal gas, we will confine our discussion only for ideal gas. For our standard, we will not talk about the real gas scenario in real gas. For real gas, ideal gas, delta U depends directly with on the temperature, absolute temperature. Internal energy increases with the increase in the absolute temperature, decreases with the decrease in the absolute temperature, that is delta U is directly proportional with T. Now as delta U is directly proportional with T, if we do some transformation with the help of with taken in the an ideal gas as our observable system, in that case during the transformation, if we do this transformation in isothermal condition, that is temperature remain constant throughout this transformation, in that case the internal energy of the system will not change even after the transformation occur, because we are taking ideal gas as our observable system, and ideal gas, the change in the internal energy depends on the absolute temperature of the ideal gas, and as isothermal condition has been applied, no temperature will change, resulting in no change in the internal energy, that is delta U will be 0. The third point is that U is an extensive property. Specifically, delta U is an extensive property. Why? Because whenever we were talking about the basic definition of the internal energy of the system, we were talking about the total internal energy of the constituent particles that are making the system. Now if we are talking about a system that comprises 1 lakh constant particle, the total internal energy, supposedly O2 gas is our system confined in a beaker, we are observing that having 1 lakh constant O2 gas. So the total internal energy of that particular O2 gas system is going to be a certain amount. The change in the internal energy during the transformation is going to be certain amount. And similar way, if we take the same O2 gas, but instead of 1 lakh constant O2 gas particle, we are going to take 1000 O2 gas particle. In this case, the total internal energy change is going to be again different. We are taking the same O2 gas system, but we are changing the constituent particle number amount. That's why the total internal energy of the system is an extensive property, but that is not the case for the internal energy of the constant particle. Each O2 gas have their own internal energy, that is whether they are present in 1 lakh O2 gas system or it is in the 1000 O2 gas system. Internal energy per constant particle is going to be same. It only depends on the nature of the system, nature of the constant particle, not the amount. So total internal energy of the system is extensive property, but the internal energy change or internal energy per molecule per constant particle is an intensive property. The fifth and the last one is the internal energy is a state function. Obviously, we had talked about that there are heat and work energy, because this kind of energy only occurring when we are doing some transformation, we are taking the help of this type of energy, and then only we can do the transformation. After the transformation, there is no existence of this kind of form of energy. Heat energy and work energy do not exist in this state, but internal energy actually exists in the state that when state A is there, state A will have its own internal energy, whether we are not, even if we do not able to, we are not able to determine it directly, but the internal energy of the system A is there. After a transformation, when system B is generated, the internal energy will change, but system B will have its own internal energy. We still will not going to be able to determine it directly, but system B will have its own internal energy. During the transformation, no internal energy we are providing, or no amount of internal energy is actually released by the system in the form of internal energy. Only internal energy by some means transforming into some other kind of energy, but internal energy is not coming during this transformation. Only change is happening, and after the change, system A with its internal with another form of internal energy. So internal energy is a state function.
Usually, when system and surrounding interact with each other, they interact with each other by the means of exchanging energy. Now, there are two form of energy that mainly system and surrounding exchange that we are going to talk about is the heat energy and work energy. Now, heat energy is the form of energy exchange when between across the boundary between the system and the surroundings due to temperature difference, when temperature difference between the system and the surroundings, that is what I'm trying to say, is that when system and surroundings are having a temperature difference between them, there will be there will be energy exchange between the system and the surroundings, that the temperature difference can be nullified, and this energy will be exchanged in the form of heat energy. So heat energy is the form of energy by definition when the system and surroundings will have temperature difference. Work energy is quite different. Work energy is the form of energy which is exchanged between the system and the surroundings across the boundary when there is an unbalanced force between the system and the surroundings. By unbalanced force, what I'm trying to say is that when there is a pressure difference between the system and the surroundings, then the system and surrounding will exchange energy to nullify that pressure difference between them in the form of work energy. So two different scenario in which an unbalance has been created between the system and the surroundings, and to nullify it, to rectify this unbalance function, that the unbalance force unbalance that is created between system and the surroundings, system and surrounding exchange energy in their respective forms. Now, heat and work energy, some of the few points, important points that we need to remember regarding heat energy and work energy. Heat energy and work energy always is transferred across the boundary. It is not a bulk energy of the bulk that is being transferred. It always transferred between the boundary, across the boundary between the system and the surroundings. And heat energy and work energy is a transit energy, meaning that heat energy and work energy cannot be stored like internal energy and other form of energy within the system or maybe in the surroundings. It is of energy of the transit. When a system and surroundings is required some transition of energy, then this transition of energy happens in the form of heat energy and work energy. It cannot be stored inside the system or in the surroundings in the form of heat energy and work energy. Now these are the two very important point. Now the third point is that heat energy always happens from the higher temperature region to the lower temperature region. Supposedly, if the system is in the higher temperature compared to its surroundings, in that case system will transfer its energy from the system to the surroundings in the form of heat energy, and as a result the internal energy of the system will decrease. Contrary to that, if the surroundings is in the higher energy, higher temperature compared to the system, then the system will gain energy from the surroundings in the form of heat energy, and in that and as a result of that, as temperature is gaining energy in the form of heat energy, it will store that energy in the form of internal energy, resulting internal energy of the system in that case will increase. So when system is releasing heat energy, internal energy of the system decreases. If the system is gaining heat energy, the internal energy of the system increases. Now what is the case for the work energy? When work energy is happening, two way work energy can be exchanged. System can do the work on the surroundings, or work can be done on this system. Now what this means, work done by the system, what this means, meaning that system is acting on the surroundings, meaning system is having higher pressure compared to surroundings, that's why it is doing some work on the surrounding to reduce its energy. And that's why when system is doing work, the internal energy of the system is reducing, and internal energy of the system is reduced, that is the work is done on the behalf of the internal energy of the system, on the expense of the internal energy of the system. Work done by the system on the surrounding due to higher temperature on the system, in the system compared to surroundings, resulting in decrease in the internal energy. Now work done on the system is that when surroundings is acting on the system. Now this arises when the surroundings is having higher pressure compared to the system. In that case, the work energy will be work done by these surroundings will be work done will be on the system, and as a result of that, internal energy of the system will be increasing. Now this energy exchange, due to these two energy exchange in these two scenarios, these two can happen simultaneously, meaning in a system in a scenario, a system and surroundings may have temperature difference between them and also pressure difference between them. In that case, heat may also will be exchanged between the system and the surroundings, and work energy will also be exchanged between the system and the surroundings. Or maybe any one of them may present, like maybe the system and surroundings only have temperature difference. In that case, work energy will not be exchanged, only the heat energy will be exchanged. Or maybe the system and the surroundings is having only the pressure difference, not the temperature difference. In that case, only the work energy will be transferred, but not the not the heat energy. But all three scenarios may possible. Now in all these scenarios, due to this energy exchange, internal energy of the system or the energy of the system is getting changed. Now due to this change in the energy, a sign convention is used in the thermodynamic sense to designate what kind of change is happening. Like when system is gaining energy, the sign that we use is the positive sign. When system is losing energy, then we use the negative sign. In the same case, when work done by the system is happening, system is losing its internal energy, and as a result, by IUPAC convention, work done by the system is a negative, and when work done is on the system is gaining internal energy. That's why it is assigned the positive. It is assigned with a positive sign. So heat gained by the system is positive, heat transfer from the system is negative, work done by the system is negative, work on the system is positive.